Hey, what is up with it, people? Welcome back to Team Fortress TV 2. Tonight we'll have some interesting matches. It is week 6, theoretically. However, we're stuck in the past for at least one more day here with a week 5 game. It's a late one. It's Buskrew versus Swift. And at the current moment, as the time we're talking here, this is 3rd against 4th. And there's plenty to talk about for this one. So let's head right into that discussion with Rahmed on production. And with me on the mic, it's Bumfries.
Hello, hello. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here. We've got we're coming in straight off a mid-season cup. We've just played DreamHack last week, and prior to that, we were probably thinking Swift looking like the second best team in Europe, and Buskrew looking like the 4th. Since then, obviously things have changed. They've been dethroned. Feint looking a lot more in shape to contest with Ascent this season, and of course, off the back of that, we've had some roster changes on Swift, so they're really kind of in turmoil at the moment. They've been thrown down into the 3rd favourites for the season, and then who knows how these roster changes will affect them. So it'll be a very, very close one tonight. 3rd seed versus 4th seed, and it'll be pretty much all about who's taking which slot.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, 3rd and 4th is still in discussion here. Seeing as Swift and Buskrew right now, as the time we were talking here, are only 5 points apart. A straight win for the Buskrew could push them ahead of Swift for the time being, not to take into account, obviously, any other games left to be played here for either team, of course. That would be quite a surprise. But like you said, roster changes abound here. Swift, for various reasons, has parted ways with their soldiers here. Both AvaX will be going, as well as Ediski will be leaving the roster, is being replaced on both sides with Josh and Nabi. People we obviously all well accustomed to seeing towards the top of the table here. So on a raw experience level, probably no problem.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be fine replacements, but it's all about how well they'll fit in mid-season. Always difficult when you change people after you've got into the flow of things. You're going to need a lot of adjustment, maybe some time to get all of your players up to scratch with the strategies your team likes to do, how you like to play situations. And yeah, having your potential closest map of the season during this period where you've kind of thrown everything around, got some new people in, it could be a tricky one. But yeah, these players, Josh in particular, he's, Prem winner of last season. He's back in the game. He placed above them even at DreamHack. Swift actually came 4th, and a mixed team with Josh on it performed better than them there. So maybe they'll get some, Prem winner knowledge from Josh to take them back up to the top.
Yeah, certainly from Kuhn's end, it's very reasonable expectations, right? Your soldiers weren't living up to their own expectations, let alone the rest of the teams. So for the sake of everyone else, they parted ways. And I mean, who's better to try to get in back to the roster here than the person you want from with one of probably the most vocal players on that team at the time as well. Certainly Josh on even just strategical level, let alone own performance as well, will probably have quite a different impact to the team than what we've previously seen out of them. I wouldn't be surprised if they take things a little bit slower sometimes. Maybe we'll see, I guess, how that will affect things overall. For the Buskrew, however, as much as they didn't quite get into the top 4 there in the cup, they didn't play bad, especially if you could also consider that they also didn't quite play with their full lineup that time. They didn't have Delhi, had to actually face him as well for that matter. He was playing with a French squad at the time. They had Nation step in, who I believe also merged Soldier once or twice for them in the meantime. I guess it's just a ghost of Buskrew's past coming back to play with them a little bit there. Worked out, all things considered, pretty well. Had obviously the really close encounter we might still remember here against the Frenchies, but wasn't quite enough to keep up with the top just yet. Maybe now back in working order with the full lineup might make a difference. Who knows?
Yeah, and you're the man in the know in terms of scheduling and stuff. Do you think? Obviously, you've already mentioned we're playing a week 5 game in week 6. Do you think they purposefully tried to schedule this later to get a week of practicing with their new roster, or were they genuinely not available for a week and had to do this? How do you think?
I mean, the way you worded it sounds a little bit more malicious. I think it's just that the fact that they were a little bit in turmoil probably made them really want to have the time to sort things out first. In fact, only one of these things were confirmed before the game was set correctly already. And then after the game was set to this day, they changed another one. So they didn't both change at the same time. It was one step up another there. Probably just worked out really nicely for them for the second one to just get a little bit more time in for this game here. They still have to play 2 this week, so it better work out quickly. Certainly with the talent they have here. I mean, we talked about Josh already, but Navi's no one to scoff at either, for that matter. Should obviously still put in quite a fight here. But like we said, as much as this might have been going to see an expected win, maybe not one of the easiest ones, but still an expected win for Swift, this is now suddenly becoming a very, very important one. Because if they want to keep this position, they need to win the head-to-head here. They don't have many games left. I think the only team Swift has left to play is Kritzberg, another expected win. And I believe Feint themselves as well, where Basco got 1 point out of them too. And, that might just make a difference.
Yeah, it's not comfortable for Swift by any means, especially with all these changes coming in. It kind of looks like the momentum is against them, and they're kind of scrambling to get everything together, rushing to replace players one by one after they get bad results in DreamHack, and then they have to, find someone to replace Everex. Everything's just kind of rushing over them at once. They might be in a bit of a panic, but this is how they prove that they're still in this one. They have to beat Bus Crew this week. The maps will be Sunshine and Granary, because we are a week behind.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of these maps specifically for these teams. We've seen like a little bit of them here and there in the Cup. Well, obviously, some of these have been played for sure, but I think Sunshine on like a relative for the team skill level should be fairly even map. Granary, I think, could be the odd one out here. You never know. Certainly with new Soldier, you place a lot of faith into having the coordination worked for the new Swift Soldiers, obviously, at the time in the Cup between the two of them, so that might not be a problem here. The question is what the side of the Basco can deliver in return. Warped and Javan are by no means bad soldiers, but given the experience on the other side, they certainly have a little bit of an uphill battle there.
Are we going to see any round resets today on Sunshine? It's been the slowest map in the pool recently, both in last week's games and in the Cup. We were seeing a lot of teams really, really struggling. In fact, we casted a game of Bus Crew hitting their head against a wall on last for 30 minutes and ending up in a golden cap just last week in DreamHack. So do you think they'll have sorted that out? Are we going to see another slow one?
They'll have to have at least thought about it in some capacity. Swift obviously had some of those problems, even with a slightly better level of play at the time. They also had like some of those problems in the third place match. I believe I watched that one against three Frenchies. And I mean, they changed the roster since then, so hopefully that will help them as well here. Otherwise, we might have ourselves another slow game here. What we also will see here tonight, I can actually tell you that guaranteed, is that Nasboy probably will get the team a minor warning since he's playing on his alt account right now.
Oh. Nice.
I'm not sure if he got locked out or something like that. He's been playing on it like once last week at some point when I was waiting for things to start, and it's so, hey, who is that? Oh, wait, that's just Nasboy on his alt account.
So they have to get his alt account accepted as a merc? Surely. Otherwise, he gets like a big warning, right? He lose a point for doing something like that.
I mean, you can, if it's like actually like somehow locked off of his account for some reason. I don't know, maybe like some scam shenanigans happened, but like got his password changed and he's falling back to his old account from like years back in order to make things meet ends here. You can probably get something worked out with admins, I would assume. I don't know if they did that ahead of time. You'd hope they did, certainly with an admin on your team. You'd think they'd be smart enough to do it. But maybe Seeds has no idea.
That'll be fun. Be nice to see a bit of controversy, get a player banned mid-season to shake things up.
Mid-games, he just realizes, wait a second, this isn't legal. And just
blacklists pauses to ban his own player from the server.
That would be wild. I'm down. I don't know who they would get as a Delvin at that point, but I'm down. Alright, who are we waiting for? Who's the last person left here? I see most everyone here already.
Josh, by the looks of things. Everyone else in the server, ready to go. The new recruit for Swift taking a while longer. Yeah,
that is, I think, that was like a little bit of a problem here towards the regular season last season when Josh was playing for Nerd Rage, that his work schedule was like barely allowing him to like be able to play in time for a lot of days. I don't know how much of that will be coming to effect this time around. Certainly being late already is not making a great first impression that it's much better this time around. I mean, it's not been that long, of course, so it's not hard to imagine nothing much changed there.
Wasn't Josh meant to be joining the Navy or something after last season? Is that him? Am I thinking of someone else?
I don't know. That's usually stuff applying to most Finnish players.
Yeah. That'd be conscription.
I don't know what they're doing in Ireland with that kind of stuff.
But yeah, we are just waiting on Josh. Do you want to throw over some predictions. We might
Honestly,
as well.
I will. The least I will say here is that I will genuinely say Granary will be the faster game.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I feel like that will happen here. Gran gets a bad rep these days, but with what we've seen, Sunshine clearly has overtaken, in my opinion. And when Gran goes fast, it goes really fast. It's like just straightforward enough a map that you can keep momentum going quite nicely most of the time if you have it.
Yeah, it's at least on Granary middles, you're pretty much guaranteed some momentum for one of the teams. Despite obviously we say Yard is like a whole control point of its own. Granary, you can definitely speed up a lot. Medics die very easily on that mid with everyone having the high ground
Especially
above them.
given the current circumstances, actually, with the scouts not being the mid sort of mid fast, you have to be like actually well aware of time ahead of time if you want to leave a mid fight. Otherwise, you're just going to be caught out if they either chase you through choke or through garage while you're leaving choke, something like that. The option to chase down is probably just a little bit better nowadays, even.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially on Granary, of course. Like, you have so far to run to get out to last. And running out with a scout, you can't really stay on second. Very, very enclosed space where a scout is going to get farmed. So yeah, it's difficult for mids to survive Granary mid. Whereas on Sunshine, even if one team does get wiped and we see a roll all the way to last, pretty much every team in Europe sucks at converting Sunshine last right now. We see a lot of wasted full overcharge advantages where they just can't get the kills. So easy to rotate the spawn and still have good ground, on the other side of Sunshine last point. A lot of the teams, they kind of use in through top right from their perspective and kind of try and hold on to that high ground. But that high ground is still quite far away from the point. It's very difficult for you to get any frags from there. And at the end of the day, the respawners can quite easily fight you and take you off it. So it's almost like you need to take two separate fights Ubering into Sunshine last. You've got to make them rotate and then bomb into them again and somehow come out on top in that fight.
Oh yes, definitely. It's almost surprising how much harder it is to compare to last point it's similar to, which is Process, where oftentimes if it's just like spacey getting with you, but you can still see good teams make it work. Into the last point, it's very interesting how much different it will play out, despite looking on the first glance very similar for most people, to the point where people say this is the most similar map to Process we have here in the map pool. Regardless of that, though, I did scroll up in the chat just now, and it looks like the reason Josh isn't here isn't because he's late in general, it's because he timed out. So they're trying to probably fix it as quickly as they can. He also, obviously, props to the Busker, obviously, in theory, they could have wanted to default this game / force it to start with 5 or force them to get a Murkier, but everyone's being stressful right now. They want to play the best game they can here.
Surely you just go for the 6 points as Busker here and take the default win.
I mean, hey, whatever gets you third, I guess, right?
Yeah. Third seed's nothing to sniff at.
I mean, realistically, it doesn't make much of a difference, to be honest. Third, fourth, it might get you the map pick advantage in the first round of playoffs, but you will still have to play the first round of playoffs against fourth, whatever. So
and then it is embarrassing if you default win your regular season game just to lose to that same team in the playoffs. That would be funny.
That would be a story, at least. I don't know, we need some petty drama here and there. Let's get it, I guess. Everyone's like just too nice.
They wouldn't even be able to ready up with 5 if Nasbo's on his ult. They technically have 4 players there.
Actually, that's a good point, because like Naz's ult account, I think I double checked as well, does not have an ETF2L account. That wouldn't work anyway, because it would auto get blacklisted by IP, I think. So surely you'd think
playing without an ETF2L account means you forfeit the official entirely, right?
Oh, well, not if you're in the admin on your team.
Yeah, true.
And or
this was Seeds playing the long con. He only signed up for admin so he could abuse this.
Yes, he knew 3 seasons in advance. The long game here. Get some reputation first, be the best medic in Prem for a little while. Gain everyone's trust and then abuse one random rule that barely matters, and probably for good reason too. I don't think Nas would be here with the alt account if it wasn't for like a legitimate purpose.
Yeah.
Then again, I know people who change accounts to like pub or scrim or whatever to just have a different hat that they don't have on their main account and can't switch over. And that's the whole reason. Which, that's... I mean, in the world of TF2, that's almost a legitimate reason to, switch accounts.
Yeah, I mean... Remember all those old marketplace TF adverts where hats equals skill? Maybe that's why, Nasboy didn't have his, grizzled veteran badge on this account or whatever, and he has to go to his ult to get it. Maybe that's why Swift were doing so badly the last few weeks.
You can't argue hands-on skill and then look at Warped with an unusual and the panda on his shoulder and say that he's not good as well. That's just, again, when you look at that, and you just know it's true.
I'd hate to encourage TFTV2 to lose viewers right now, but while we're still waiting on this game, there is Ascent EU versus Feint Gaming already live over on the main channel. Feint's up 1-0 at the start of Granary over there.
I mean, hey, a view for TFTV is a view for TFTV.
Yeah.
That's a win for everybody. And if anything, us starting later means that they finish before us, and then people can maybe join in for the end of this match. Hopefully by that time it is, first of all, started, but also a good match, as it happens towards the end of the next map, maybe. We'll see, I guess. If not anything else, I mean, hey, at least by the time this starts, you'll see Sunshine and then 2 other maps in the other game.
Yeah, it's exciting how this change-up brought about by the DreamHack Cup has kind of changed the storyline of the season. These matches would be a lot less interesting without it if we were still expecting Feint to be 3rd and we were still expecting Swift to be 2nd. This has made both these matchups look a lot closer on paper. These are 2 really, really good games this week, if they ever get started. Delhi looks like he's encouraging them to hurry up.
I like Caesar's answer. This is the most advert answer of all time.
Yeah. We are looking into this.
All of our resources are dedicated to resolving this issue. Please have patience. I mean, what can you do, right? If it's Josh having tech issues, then I mean, I can understand why Swift really wants to rather play with him instead of getting someone else in the meantime here, even if they technically have 2 good soldiers lined up to potentially play. Clearly, I mean, if you already part ways, you probably want to do it proper. And don't just, like, come back, hey, I mean, this is awkward right now, but we kind of need one for this game specifically, at least for the first map or something like that.
We're coming up to being half an hour late, and legally you can default after 15 minutes. So, hopefully, they go fast. Although it would be very, very funny to see a default win happen in this game. I'm kind of hoping it will, secretly. It would be very funny.
I mean, it's content in its own right, I suppose.
Yeah.
And
we miss out on a close game, but we get a really funny thread on TFTV.
Yeah, really funny story to come out of this. See, this is why watching all the games is important for me, because you're missing half the story if you just look at the scorelines at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You never know. Speaking of which, also tomorrow, as we mentioned already, we have 2 games here. 2 games tomorrow and 1 game on Sunday, so it's a busy week here all the way through. 5 games total this week. Well, this is the top few teams playing against each other. Tomorrow is, with one exception, obviously, more the bottom end of the table beating each other. Swift has a game once again here. They just have to play double duty this week. We'll be heading up against Kritzberg, who are currently clinging on to 5th, I believe. For the time being, anyway. Closely so, followed by DuMmTm at 9 points right behind the 11. So it's still close over there, but they're currently clinging on to hope there to maybe have an upset starting to happen somewhere. Maybe a weak Swift if this performance is good of Swift. There's hope for the Poles here, as well as, and that would be the TFTV1 game to the other game, being the TFTV2 game. It is the bottom table game. Evan and the Britmonks against Global Clan EU. I think 2 points separate the 2 of them. 1 point, actually. So they're like barely a party right now at the bottom of the table. And no one wants to be last, obviously. And the straight up head-to-head win against who might be the team at the end of the season, right next to you in the table, puts you so far ahead of them in just raw numbers.
All right, chat. How's things going for you? Because I've completely run out of content to talk about. We've been filling time for 25 minutes here.
Well, I can tell you with confidence, one somewhat relevant story to the game here, namely, I think most people have been around for a while in TF2 will remember Clander. I was watching their game before this just to, get everything sorted on my end. And unfortunately, Clander, in the big comeback season where they finally escaped the low end of the table once again in low, will not make playoffs still. They lost the game just now, earlier, an hour ago, and will not be able to make low playoffs anymore with the 6 points lost today, which is a tragedy after they didn't play last season.
That's a real shame. At least they're still on the road to seasons without Prem.
I mean, also on route to become Estonian's national team at this point. They have like 3 Estonians, I think, this season, all-time high.
Oh,
of like
I didn't know there
Estonians
were
on
3
any
Estonians
team.
in the game still.
There's at least 3 that aren't on Clander right now, okay? off the top of my head. I know at least 3 right now. Well, 4 actually, now that I think about it. Even more than that. Wow, crazy. They have like 7. That's insane.
I think
that's like the whole country.
I only know Carl and Polarium. I think shout out to both of those.
Yeah, I know at least a scout and a medic they have as well. Are they both in low? I think one of them went mid actually. Otherwise, what do I know? I guess, but yeah, that's at least like 7 total, I think. So that's crazy.
The Major has joined Team Red. Oh my god!
Wow, he's here. The threat has been deployed. And if you wait this much for one person, you have confidence that is worth it on SVIFT end here.
It better be worth it. Wouldn't it be great if Josh goes like 5-30 now in this game?
Just like too tilted at his computer to play. I don't think he's that much of a tilt-ridden person. He's been through stuff with his teams that made him become a better player overall in not just gameplay alone. Including getting 4th and then winning.
If you just got here, we'll go over a very, very quick rundown of the rosters and the storyline for this week once again. SVIFT coming in off of 2 roster changes, looking to be 3rd seed after the DreamHack Cup, but the bus crew over here in 4th, looking to snatch that from them this week. We're a week behind, we're playing week 5 maps, even though it's week 6. And the rosters for both teams are Seeds on Medic with Nasboy Demo, Josh and Nubby, the new soldiers for SVIFT, and Gaz and Kunu on Scouts, as always. And then on the other side, over on the bus crew, Caper and Adelos Scouts, Jeevan Roma, Warped Pocket, Delhi on Demo back after Nation was filling in the cup, and Martin Strawberry on Medic.
Yep, talented rosters here for sure. High experience level overall. Obviously going to SVIFT here by quite a bit, so the somewhat newer, for the most part, players of the bus crew are certainly looking for an upset here if at all possible, but they have not completely new to the block here. They have played a fair share of matches towards the top level as well. They know what they want to do, but can they realize it? People have struggled with it this season on Sunshine so far. We've seen the bus crew struggle on Sunshine quite a bit just a few days ago. Can they be able to perform when it counts now in the head-to-head for maybe just a 3rd place into playoffs here?
Yeah, so we are finally live into the first mid. Nubby with a very fast rollout on the point. Deli is slow and Nasboy is already locking him off in Flower, but there's damage onto both Deli and Nasboy, onto Nubby and Nasboy, sorry, as they back up. Jeevan just hiding in his own Flower for now, and SVIFT doing the same as always. They look like they're going towards the enemy side of the point, and Jeevan gets bombed by Nubby, but wins out that frag. And now SVIFT might be imprisoned on the wrong side of mid once again. Josh trades for Caper. Jeevan finally gets caught, but look where they are once again. Bus crew have all the control of mid. SVIFT playing Sunshine on the other side still. Nasboy bombing in. Kunu does manage to get onto Martin, but can't hit the shots. Gazi, last one left up. And he's just 1 against 4. They take him out from inside Cafe. They're going to secure the cap here. At least Seeds died very early, so they do have a chance to build up a slight bit of Uber, but it should be full ad for the bus crew coming into last.
Yeah, courtesy of just really smart play by Jeff, and jumps behind, and instead of going anywhere, just waits for Navi to counteract him right behind the corner, immediately takes him out, just waiting for him to land in front of his face. Really nicely done there for them to get this advantage now, going all the way to last, like you mentioned. Seeds might already have 40, but if they just go in straight away here, they have a chance. Trap forward, Josh calls a position. Any time wasted is valuable time for Seeds to get some beam ready to go for last year. They try to auto for as long as they can. 60 now on Seeds, maybe just letting them push, kite them, and re-push with the Uber might work for them here as the Uber comes into last already.
Yeah, and the Uber is completely wasted. The sentry's far away. They do pick up Nasboy though, running into stickies. He came out the wrong side of spawn, they're playing the point! Nasboy throws it all away. He just comes out into the spawn door that's already stickied off. And as soon as he dies, there's no defensive sticky traps. They play the point immediately. Well played from Bus Crew to take the 1-0.
Yeah, very small windows of opportunity here between both the Uber struggling to be much of an advantage at all, let alone all that what happened just on last year, just barely getting them on point in time before the spawns came out once again, once the stickies were blown. So close call here all the way through, but Bascu actually taking the first lead of the map. SVIFT certainly backed into a corner early here, but they're not out just yet into mid-fight number 2, maybe starting off a better one right now. Tame start, sitting on their own half, waiting for some initiation. Josh not having the funnest time just now, dealing good damage to Jevon at least. Lets them not play too aggressive on the Bascu just yet either.
Yep, no deaths as of yet. Both soldiers now bombing in onto Delhi. They don't get the frag and they do get cleaned up. Alos and Cape are both down on the side of the bus crew though, and Nubby still alive, wreaks havoc, gets onto Martin. Delhi and Jevon need to do everything they can to find Seeds. The bomb is in from Delhi. He does go all the way around onto Seeds, but he's not the ideal class for wrapping that frag up. So this time it's Seeds with the full ad. We'll see if they can do any, or rather, not any better, but mirror what the bus crew have done to them. They have the full advantage. Sentry going up by Adelos. It's only going to be a level 1 at the moment.
And it's like you mentioned last time, this one is a much later kill on the medic here. They're capping second right now. Martin barely at 30 at this point here. Points cap up now. People already taking lobby, so they will take much less time to actually get in here as well, to get ready for the push. Gun up, heavy up is what has to defend this one, as the beat is being deployed through the right side, and as we're going deep, finds the gun pretty quickly. Not much else to see just yet, taking as much space as they can here. Nabi also waiting in the wings in the corner here, maybe seeing if he can bomb draw point as the point time comes in, but they're just getting utterly denied by everyone on air control. Caper taking them pretty quickly, but at the cost of 4 lives total. That aerial denial on the bombs by Nabi and George will pay out greatly for all the bus crew.
Yeah, Delhi just staying alive the whole time means no one can play the point. The heavy coming out of the respawn just makes, air denial very easy, impossible for any soldiers to get in there. And now it's a 50% advantage for Martin. Once Warped and Caper are up, we're going to be looking to get towards middle. Jeevan's already postured out Flower, but it looks like the rest of the combo are going to be running in through Cafe. No one's actually watching this as of yet. Warped gets in behind them for free. He's taking the enemy Flower immediately, but Seeds has already built up his own Uber, and the trap from Nasboy just on the side of Tetris there will take out Delhi. Everyone on the side of Swift is busting Flower right now. They can immediately just go behind and pressure this lighthouse point. But all of the bus crew managed to get back, and they're putting the spam in onto Swift.
Yeah, this worked out brilliantly. They didn't even commit for the backup. They just made them think about it, make them fear, make them all fall back here, and just put them in a bad spot where the damage will just keep running in. Josh into lobby, already claimed one, will claim a second one of the Jevon here. This bait out worked out perfectly for them, as we have the last push maybe happen off of this to just get at the very least to Martin here, while no scouts can stop them on the point to get the captain out and get the force out with that as well. Question is how much they can stay in on the spawn side here now. Kunu wants to just win immediately, but no one's leaving the captures yet.
Yeah, and now Kunu going to fall to Warps. The respawners are up. This heavy is up once again. I think Swift have played this wrong. They had this 6v3 situation. All they had to do was not commit Seeds. They can throw their players in. They can get the force and then repush with a full advantage. It would have been so easy to force with only 3 defenders left alive, but instead they take the trade, which allows for the spawners to come up in time because they're delaying during the Uber. They can't kill each other. All the spawners come up, including the heavy, and that allows an easy defense for bus crew, who are now walking this through to mid. A huge bomb in from Jeevan. He just takes the space, and now Caper and Delhi walking through as well.
Delhi faking the deep bomb in, does not commit in the end, and that's actually good enough. Gets Kunu overextended just enough, trying to shoot down what's left, but that was just everyone in his face in the end. That will get the kill here for at least one pick. The Uber advantage is insignificant enough to not matter likely for the bus crew, but they're going to take the chances anyway. One scout down is one more reason to try to get a soldier in. Certainly someone tried, but in the end they decided if Uber actually want to take an exchange themselves. Maybe they play it safer than Swift did last time around. And we've seen an exchange here. Idol's having some trouble getting out, but will claim a kill out to Joshi in the end while the combo's out safely through the flank here. Nabi will escort them out of here, but not much more than that in the end.
Yeah, definitely an unconventional trade, using in on like a 3% advantage and then taking 4 players in. Thankfully they all managed to escape though. They didn't flash all 4 players in the Uber. That would have been a disaster, and no one just got caught out by the Swift Uber. So it only went 1 for 1, and now it looks like we've got the stalemate here between mid and second. Both teams just building their Uber up once again, completely even.
Alright, if there was also any doubt about Nasboy on his alt account being in fact Nasboy, I think just watching his POV for a second will very quickly confirm it is Nasboy. He has the habit of always doing something and then aiming his mouse in the circle and then doing something and aiming in the circle. Some sort of little tick he has, which certainly works for him. I mean, you can't argue with success if it helps him make the work happen, and certainly so far as a demo man, it's been working brilliantly for him.
Ghazi is playing very close to Flower, just in the corner there. It looked like they were trying to bait Delhi and then get Ghazi to do something. Maybe not. He was just chilling out. There's some pressure in Flower from Bus Crew, but Nubby's just doing his job, holding the flank. Not much happening. Neither team sacking. It's a very difficult point to sack on. Getting from mid to second has such a long distance that you're in the air that you're gonna be shot down by scouts for like 10 seconds before you even meet the medic. And then I'd say on the other side, sacking second into mid is nigh impossible. I don't think there's any way you can really even try sacking into mid. People still counter sack, of course, when the enemy is one down, but it's just pretty much impossible to find a way to sack first into mid.
Yeah, the only times I see it happen is like very high committal, baiting with people deep into choke, having someone else double sack basically for a fake stack. Obviously, like I said, easier for the team on the midpoint itself. Jevon certainly trying to get close at the very least. The way the choke works out for you is very generous to get a deep jump in, but that doesn't make it any easier to actually get through and live in the end. Certainly not the case for them right now. Navi with the counter sack goes high as well, but will not find any damage with the Martin even for the counter sack.
versus Deli. Whoa. As they were doing that, Naspo and Deli were both taking very, very dangerous 1v1s, neither of them backed up by their team. If either of them had hit the pipe, that would have been the brakes off. Everyone would have been rushing in off the back of a demo pick, but neither of them managed to find anything. So we're back into a 6v6. Both respawns are up.
One of them is Jevon on Spy. We've seen this before. This struggle to work so far. The silent knife's coming out and it will work. Not quite enough time to get a kill onto the soldier there, but enough for the rest of the team to spam through and get Josh back turned to choke anyway. So it will still work out their way just fine on the bus. Maybe we need to reconsider. Maybe this is the redemption arc for the Jevon Spy.
Yeah, if you want your Jevon Spy to work in one game, it should be this one. And dropping seeds as well. That is exactly what they needed. Full advantage into last now. If they can just replicate what they did last time, we're going to be looking at a 2-0 here. Finally, Jevon's play works out. He's been doing that. It's pretty much a meme between us at this point. He does it every game, and this seems to be the first one that's properly worked. I mean, one time he like blocked a cap as Spy or something, but it's not quite the full medic drop that he was hoping for. Now the Uber is in from under, straight in to the sentry. Gazzy's gun does go down. Nubby also has fallen. There's cap time on the point already. There's so much cap time. Everyone's trying to block it from the side of Swift. Kunu now being focused fired down on the heavy. He stood right on the point. He's so low, but he's just getting bowed up by seeds. Jeevan's gonna fall, and now with 3 down, they are just going to escape. Bus Crew didn't quite manage to convert that one, but they came so close.
Okay, I'm not one to compliment Paros, but that was like a half-screen flick, air shot reflect by Gas onto one of the soldiers jumping in deep onto the last point, just instantly taking him out. I mean, the man's Paro after all, so you would expect him to be able to do such a thing. Still nice to see it happen though, and it matters quite a bit as well. Soldier just down immediately. Makes life so much easier in this last push to defend from the rest of this, and suddenly gets him all the way back to second already on Swift. So going down 2 is not a place where you want to be when we've seen the Bus Crew very happy about being able to play slow here if forced to.
They do run it in with the Uber now, and the milk from Martin is huge. Nasboy is solo, definitely going to be caught out in this Uber. So yeah, Nasboy down, Josh down, Alos the only casualty on the other side. This, and Nubby in fact caught as well by Jeevan in their own cafe. He was trying to go behind. So in this 3v5, looks like this is a free second for the Bus Crew, but Gazzy is hiding. Martin walks past him. Oh, Gazzy doesn't go for it, he just escapes.
It's risk reward right now. I don't think they won't lose anyone when there's a chance. Bus Crew might just go in straight into last anyway, and isn't even where they think they might be anymore. No one's getting in just yet. They're peeking deep. There we go. Finally, people busting in from the far right side. Attacker's perspective just straight up to point, forcing everyone onto the cap here. But it's not good enough for a collapse to happen in the end by the Bus Crew. They just don't have enough firepower left after the initial cap time.
Yeah, you want to bait people onto the point by capping and then try and kill the people who have been baited onto it. Unfortunately, the soldiers and the scout kind of all went for cap time at the same time, right at the start, which meant that the players who were being baited onto the point just killed the soldiers and the scouts together. There was no one to re-push onto the point to refight it and finish off the cap after baiting those players on. So it's not too catastrophic for the Bus Crew. They've been in control this entire game. We're 13 minutes down at the moment, and it's still a 1-0 lead for them. Things have evened up on second once again. Bus Crew in control of mid once again. So we're just back where we were a few minutes ago.
something that just never changed, and at the moment that is the scoreline, which is not a place where Swift still likes to be, as much as they're gratefully defending their last point as much as they can right now. It's not quite getting it anywhere just yet. Still a lot of work to do if they want to, in fact, come back on this map, make it at the very least a golden cap, at best a straight win without dropping any points at all. And with the stalemate at hand here, it certainly doesn't help them quite as well. I mean, if you saw some of the sacks right now, he is getting in deep. They, on a technical level, obviously know how they can potentially make sacks happen, but it doesn't make it easier on the side where the Basket is ready to deny them at all times as well.
There's a lot of pressure on Flower there. They've tried this a few times before, Bus Crew. I don't think I've seen it work yet, but I really like the idea behind it. Cape actually running in, and he does get in behind, but there's two players there with him, hunting him down on the side of Swift. Kunu also gets piped by Deli and goes down in the meantime. Caper wins his 1v1 with Nubby on last. This is a 6v4 now, and in fact Josh falls too. It's a 6v3. Seeds needs to get out without being forced. He will get out to last, but Busker have perfectly engineered this situation to rush in for a force. The rockets from Jeevan aren't quite going to do it. Adelos playing the point, that gets the force out, and now Busker can kite and get back in when their 100% advantage is complete. Swift have to try and salvage this. They're doing anything they can to poke onto second here. Ghazi in the dungeon, rushing up onto Deli now. He's the fucking... Oh, he's the first difference maker, as Caper now does take Nasboy down on the low ground.
How well they've been playing, I guess this is an appropriate way to talk about them, because that was perfect engineering so far, just perfectly putting them in a spot where they tend to get this force out onto the last point here. Now they have a chance to just maybe extend the lead a little bit more too early. This is a strong lead on Sunshine.
Yeah, the Uber does come in. Deli's stick off this door again. Kunu goes straight into the stickies on the respawning heavy. There's a lot of cap time on the point already. And Deli's getting the frags on the left-hand side as well. It's a 4v5, sorry. But the heavy on the point, we've seen how strong this is so many times before. Ghazi on the pyro as well. Oh, the heavy goes down. It's just Gaz versus 3 now. Bomb comes in. He does reflect and flare combo Jeevan. He does take down Jeevan as well. Adelos, last man up. Nasboy hits the sticky on him and clutches everything out. Gaz on the pyro, just defense maniac on this map.
I mean, a big part of that is Gas doing really well there, but they also just feared him a lot. They waited so long to try to get something going, and by that time, it's just too late, because the spawns were coming up as well, and any damage he does just sets them up perfectly for Nasboy's cleanup as well here. So, Swift, once again, just barely hanging in this. They really don't want to go down any further. If you want to make the comeback happen here, that is instrumental for them right now, to keep this 1 hour alive and get out of this somehow. But with how close these fights are, they're going to be stuck here for a little bit longer. They just don't have momentum out of this last point here. And in fact, with how it's been going as well, Martin just has another advantage to go around as well. Yeah,
with Ghazi as the sole survivor on last there, they did get seeds, and Martin survived, so Deli in once again gets dropped from the Uber by the headshot of Kunu. Sentry gun down on the point, but with no demo on attack, I think this is worthless at this point. Josh going to get taken down by Warped. Caper still trying to salvage. They are actually getting the frags for a repush here. Ghazi and Josh are down on the defense, but there's still those stickies up of Nasboy. The high ground belongs to the bus crew, but there's nothing they can do with it. As we've talked about before, they're just kind of stuck in. Jeevan in now, just trying to make anything happen, but he's just thrown his life away. All the rest of the bus crew are nowhere near, and now Swift have the advantage and the frag to get out of last.
Yeah, such a fancy jump by Jeevan too, trying to catch the medic on spawn, but they just didn't leave the spawn at all. Martin just steps one step back into the door, seat, sorry. Steps one step back into spawn, and suddenly there's just no chance to get him at all. Out of Swift onto second. This is maybe the opportunity they needed. It will get them second. Looking at the Ebers, it might not get them more than this right now, but with how much time they spent on the non-last this map already, they will gladly take the one step forward. It doesn't also mean a step back right away. We're back to the mid 2 second stalemate here. Basku, as we mentioned previously, still very much in control by the looks of things, and certainly still in the lead as well. This is all for them to win for right now, if they just keep this 1-0 alive somehow. If they can extend it, even better. But if they just make Swift stuck in defensive positions for the rest of the game, that is just about good enough as well.
We've seen Bus Crew winning out this situation every time we've been in it, I believe. One time was Jeevan getting the drop onto Seeds, and the other time was this play that they're looking to set up for again. They pressure Flower, they try and bait people to fight them, and then they bomb Jeevan through choke. In fact, it looks like it's just Warped doing not much and getting caught on a single sack from Cafe this time. So we'll be looking at a counter-sack any second now from Swift, likely.
And they're getting people into possession. Gas and Kuno already peeking really deep. Gasly, in fact, in already, but nowhere to go for the man. And Kuno gets caught as well, courtesy of some pirates by Delhi. And this escalated against their favor very quickly here. With no scouts up, suddenly there's just so much more room to take, potentially.
Yeah, no scouts up makes it a hell of a lot easier to bomb in on this point. In fact, Jeevan and Caper are just going to bust the flank, and now they have the exit locked off. They could force Seeds here, but Seeds is far away from danger. He's going to keep that overcharge up for last, but again, Bus Crew just outplaying them time and time again on this mid-2 stalemate. They're going to put Swift pinned back on their last.
And that's exactly what they want to see them here. Once again, the off-class is coming out. Both Kuno and Gas back to the main classes for the time being. Certainly worked out really well for each of them with some nice headshots and reflects coming out of each to just hold on to the last point here. But just not losing is not going to win them the game here. They need to get something going out of this last one, and that's just not easy. And I don't think the Bus Crew will give them anything that makes it easy, but they're going to just take safe prods until they have an advantage. Navi on the outside starts getting desperate already. D-bomb into lobby. Great damage, but just doesn't live long enough.
Yeah, a huge rocket into Martin, but unfortunately, Martin was pretty much stood on the med pack. He doesn't use there, and now the bust from left, they're just making space for Jeevan to get in, and Warped actually takes down Nasboy. No demo man. This means a lot. Delhi now finds Josh out of position on the low ground. Josh is pretty much completely out of this fight as he goes back into lobby. Kuno on the Pyro is trying to stuff people in this door. And it looks like the Bus Crew have just taken long enough. Actually, Warped in trying to sack onto Nubby as they continue re-pushing on the left side. Josh is the only one down. There's cap time on point from Caper. The Pyro goes down as well, so that's another defender. And one of the most important ones, an off-classer, is down, but there's just nothing happening for Bus Crew. They get forced out of lobby once again.
Given the circumstances, it's very understandable though that they don't want to dare more. You could have maybe tried to exchange through all the way, but we've seen this not working too well for Swift here. Bus Crew doesn't want to fall a victim to the same mistake here. Just taking it safe. If the force play doesn't work, we're out of here well in time to be safe on second. Certainly works out in their favor this time around, and with the lead in hand, that certainly is a winning move here in the end, if they can just keep it going for a little bit longer.
Yep, once again, Bus Crew find it safe enough to retake lobby. There's some traps they need to look out for from the side of Nasboy over here. Jiven just about to walk into them on the big door side. But
I mean, you can just tell how the Bus Crew knows the win condition at this point, very much so.
yeah, there's 9 minutes. The NG and Pyro combo up on last. It's so difficult to get in, but Swift have been unable to do much in return themselves. Nubby bombs into lobby and just gets destroyed without doing much at all. So Bus Crew have room to prod a little bit now, but you know, the sentry gun up on this point, they've been trying to take left side for free after things like this happen, but Delhi does walk into the traps eventually. Jevin gets pinned to the skybox by aforementioned sentry, and this is definitely Swift going to be able to get out of last here, surely.
I mean, they would have to take a chance, right? As much as you don't like the situation as they're pushing out of last team's perspective here as well, because it's just barely a pick, you kind of have to take some chances here, which is so tough as well, because if it goes bad, it's so easy to lose around, but they will take their chances here straight into second. Josh trying to take some space, shut down immediately between Caper and Delhi. Stickies here, taking them pretty quickly. Jevin caught on some traps, so this probably won't escalate one way or another, especially with the gun on last as well. No chance for the Basket to make this go anywhere just yet, but they're gonna not be too upset about that. I would imagine the Basket, they will park that bus as much as they feel like.
Yep, the Bus Crew doing a good job just to not use Uber there on seconds. They didn't panic, they managed to delay for their spawners without even having to trade up the Ubers here on second. So Nubby and Kunu both on Spy right now.
Yeah.
One of them's checking classes while the other one goes for a play, I assume, unless we do see a double Spy play out Snakewater last, Sunshine last. That would be hilarious. Nubby's the one making the play though. He's in dungeon, sneaking around on the sneaky Frenchman. He does now uncloak, but he can't go through this shutter. He knows he can't go through it. He does go through it anyway. No one spotted him out.
Somehow. Okay,
yeah.
well, he was role-playing there as good as one man can, but eventually they realized, wait a second, you shouldn't be here. Catch him out eventually here, despite his best efforts. Surprised he went Spy anyway. I guess desperate time to go for desperate measures, but Sniper is the safe option, as we can see, also the one that's working. Caper, which they probably realized it was on Sniper there with the spy check, quickly taken down by the sides of Kuno here. Also put out Battalion's backup on the same time here on the basket while they were changing classes in the forward spawn. German switching to that one here to try to just set up for defense a little bit more, have some extra layer of defense ready, but Kuno is the one that they have to worry about right now. Peeks deep there through balcony, does not get a good shot on anything though.
Yeah, gets a very, very short peek at Delhi, but no shot connects. Nubby once again on Spy. He's actually behind the lighthouse. Uncloaks now. Martin's alone on the point right now. No one's actually really with him. Oh, Nubby, he goes back. He tasted blood for just a second, but he's going to wait for a bit of a better opportunity as the bus crew retake lobby. Now, if they pressure... Oh, he actually just goes straight in for it, but he misses the stab. That's a fail from Nubby as he does the 30 damage melee. If maybe they had distracted with someone... I mean, this lobby is very, very good for putting pressure on from both sides. If they had actually used, you know, a second half to that play rather than just Nubby running in, it could have worked out. But Delhi gets caught out by Nasboy, and once again, the bus crew giving up lobby, but giving up lobby means nothing. Swift need to get a hold of second, and they haven't been able to. So far, the respawn is already up for Delhi. He's going to be on the second fight before Swift even get out, so they're going to opt to get back to last. Josh losing his life in dungeon in the meantime means there's yet another attempt for bus crew into last here. We've been seeing this time and time again. Bus crew loses someone in lobby, they play on second, and then Swift just lose one person going into second, and we're back to this exact situation.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm entirely convinced you are a lot more keen on the Basque pushing last than the Basque is at this point. They're just taking it easy right now. They know they have timer right in front of them. 5 more minutes is all they need. 5 more minutes to decide the fate of Swift, I guess, as well. That's 3 points they will never see back here. And a tie could make things awkward. A tie would mean that Swift's result against Fate is entirely the deciding factor, I think, at this point, at the end of the season. So it's going to be tough if they can't win the first map, let alone even winning the second one on top of that, I suppose. It's gonna be difficult here, and at the moment it's just the Basku taking chances at the moment, peeking with the sniper, peeking with the soldier to build banner. Josh in into lobby, that will do it. Early force for the exchange of 1 life might be good enough. Everyone's really passive about this, doesn't want to overextend at all on the bus crew.
Yeah, the bus crew now no Uber to speak of, and they do pop the banner out as well here. Jeevan just keeping that battalions up. They're like, try and take your Uber into us, I dare you. We'll have this damage resistance, we'll still be able to fight anyway, as Martin is up to 50%. Swift just starting to get into lobby now.
Alright, here come some attempts to take space. Navi peeking through dungeon, everyone else through lobby, spot the traps. The battalions does come out, trying to just hold them off for a little bit longer here. 4 more minutes is all they have to play for as the Uber comes out. They need to catch him on surprise, and Martin's way too far forward still. Josh piped out instantly after, but that's already too little too late at this point. Matt's going down for Basku, Javin falling as well, starting to get second cap on, and it doesn't look like anyone will dare try to get a sack coming the way on second for Swift. They're just falling back right now, trying to catch him by surprise with the Caper Sniper, and desperately hold onto this round right now, because this advantage might just turn things on his head now.
That's a critical mistake from Martin. Dies with about 80% Uber. They thought they had timed it perfectly. They were like, they had up to about 60%, and then they released the banner. Then at that point it looked like Swift weren't going to push into the banner. It looked like they were going to wait it out. And if Swift did wait it out, then Martin would have Uber in time. So I think they just expected, because they didn't see aggression for that first few seconds, they were like, oh, they're going to wait it out and we're going to get Uber. But right at the end of the banner, with a few seconds left on it, they just decided to bust, and they caught Martin out. Jeevan now does get onto Seeds, but Seeds,
he didn't see him at all.
Alive.
He looked on the floor the entire time. He needed to look up to find him. He hoped he would probably floor him with the rocket, but it just popped him up instead. That is so unfortunate for Javin. And Seeds will now have a shot at last with this one. It's almost even as Winnow is slowing down, and in fact that is making sad of it. Martin will not serve anywhere at all. Waiting for the Major might have been the move to make here.
Martin, I don't know if he actually got Uber in time, but he was on either 99 or 100, and now this full advantage, no heals. This is Swift's opportunity to take it. They use onto the point. Kunu gets no cap time because he's been flashed, but everyone on the bus crew in spawn at the moment, still no cap time for Swift, but they do have their first frag. Now they're trying to play the point. It's all gone wrong by the looks of things. It's very, very slow. Now the respawners are coming out on the side of the bus crew. The rebombs come in and they're doing work though. Caper, the last man alive on the point. Martin just trying to bow him. But they do finally equalize this. Swift take it to 1-1.
And the Bosku's just been clutched on. As simple as that. Like, 2 mistakes out of their general positioning. One, just everyone was 2-for-4, I assume, for the given situation on second. I mean, this time, on the second time, on last, it was just Martin missing one serve. And that's how quick it can go sometimes. Mistakes on medics just always get magnified so much more. And it will cost them so much because of it.
100 seconds on the clock. It's still time for either of these teams to take it in regulation. We need to see a good mid-fight from them, though. Jevon has bombed in behind on Flowers. He's put Nubby out of the fight for now. And Swift have once again taken the enemy side on mid. Martin is fully not in mid. He is just playing his own cafe right now. And that means that all the space, all of the room on mid and the cap is going to Swift. No one on the side of the bus crew is able to be doing anything really. And with Caper behind, if Swift do know about this, it's a 5v6 on second that they could take. It looks like they're sending everyone back for Caper though. Josh and Kunu are going to be fighting him, but he's just delaying in lobby. He wants to take at least a point from this map, and he knows that he can get it if he delays for this extra 40 seconds. In fact, him getting Nubby there is a very, very nice trade for him. This is just an extra 10 seconds of delay coming off the clock.
Yeah, basically just gonna make it time at this point, even if a play happens. I don't think it will reach last anymore. Vasco playing scared there at the end. They lost one round, they didn't want to lose another, but I think giving Swift momentum could have been a crucial mistake. Luckily, with the threat of the backline player here, it will not escalate too much. Everyone's jumping into the opportunity here on second. It is a lot of kills going all over the place, but I don't think it's gonna matter quite in the end as much as Vasco might feel nice about these kills. With barely any time left to go around, even the second cab will not feel anything right now. That's jumping it back on second attack just to confirm there's no chance to cap last. They have someone on the point already. That will do it. It will be a golden cap here.
This reeks of Bus Crew versus Feint in week 1 or week 2 to me. The Bus Crew are just so much better for the majority of the game. They are really just, destroying in complete control for the 26, 27 minutes. And then they make some crucial back-to-back mistakes, this time from Martin. And that's how fast it can slip out of their hands. And they just lose these points based on, last-minute comebacks from making some shoddy mistakes right at the end. It really looked like they had that, win locked down for free, as they were just making sure that everything Swift did was failing as they were trying to get out of last. But eventually, that one time, they get forced in lobby, and from there, it's all the way on the back foot. Martin failing the surf on last as well, as you recall, got them that round. And now, the Bus Crew need to try and win this out in Golden Cap at least. They've secured 1 point, which is nice for the slight underdog team, but, they want more. They should be getting more, judging by how they were playing for the majority of that match.
I don't know. It's like, this isn't the first time we've seen Bosco choke on the finish line. Like you mentioned, the experience factor that we'd like to talk about so much doesn't often show itself in just raw gameplay, much more so in the mental game, I want to say. And certainly in this case, it just shows once again, Swift just remaining in composure. They were down so long, but they knew exactly once they have a shot, they just need to keep it going the entire way through, and they certainly did so brilliantly here. Keep their calm and just clutched out the one round needed to not lose all 3 points. Even if they lose 2 at the end of this one, that's still good enough if they win the next map to win the head-to-head here to make it to a potential third-place finish, let alone considering what happens in the next 2 weeks worth of games for them.
Jevon is just getting the Golden Cap rule set wrong in chat here, and then insisting that he's right, when Seeds is literally an admin on the other team. I'll go over it for anyone who's wondering. You play a 15-minute round. If neither team wins at the end of this 15-minute round, then we'll play another round, and whoever wins the mid-fight of that second extra round wins the game. It's probably the most stupid Golden Cap ruling ever. I don't think it makes any sense that we're kind of not only one step removed from the real game, but then 2 steps removed by playing another mid-fight, and then just whoever wins a mid-fight wins. It's a completely weird one, but that is how it works. It's not whoever holds mid at the end of this first round. That is not true. It will be going to another mid-fight if neither team wins this out. And we've seen the bus crew playing a hell of a lot of Golden Caps recently, especially on this map in the DreamHack tournament. So we'll see if that experience leads them to anything here, as we are coming into the mid-fight of the Golden Cap. We tied 1-1 in regulation, neither team making the first move, Jevon hiding in his own flowers once again as Swift go towards to take the enemy side. Now Jevon in with the bomb, does get in onto Seeds, gets a lot of damage in, but Gazzy in the meantime will get him behind, try and find Martin. Seeds has been taken down, Nasboy just bombing in to try and find Martin, and oh! If Kunu committed, he could have found Martin, theoretically, because Nasboy was bombing from the other side and kind of forcing Martin to run towards Kunu, but Kunu's going to play it safe, get back to last, keep himself alive, and now there's a 100% Uber charge advantage for the bus crew. This is almost exactly how the regulation game started. We'll see if they can convert this and put a pin in map 1 right away.
Yeah, that's a great start to the Golden Cap for the bus crew here. We've seen them be able to convert up this once. Maybe it's just one more opportunity they need to take the map here. Certainly Swift is setting up for the last word as much as they can as the push comes in from lower right into the gun. He's taking it down right away. Let's see if they can get anything else with this Uber about to fade here, as they haven't got any cap. They get heavy power auto spawn, makes committing to this all the harder, but they will take their chances here. Soldier in deep, good damage towards Kunu. Will live for so long, but will eventually go down. 2 down on the bus crew, but makes it so hard to try to keep through with the fight here. Gas cleans up even more, but Jevon jumps past them. W with the beams, but a second too late. That will still kill the medic here, and as long as Martin escapes everyone on the Swift side here with the chase into second, they will have an advantage one way or another again.
Yeah, just really proving everything we've been saying so far about Sunshine tonight. They use that entire Uber to get the sentry. They get nothing else. They don't play the point at all or anything. They are capping up a second once again for free here. They know that the advantage is against them on the side of Swift. But yeah, after using up that entire Uber, you pretty much have to take a second last push fight with no Uber advantage at all. It's just even, neither team has Uber, and that's where it really gets so difficult on this last. But the clutch frag onto Seeds at the end of it does at least give them a retry. Martin with this Uber charge advantage. Looks like they're going to go from up top this time. Kunu sniping in the forward spawn door. He's killed Deli in this Uber before with this play. He's not going to get it this time. The sentry's still up on the left. They need to play the point now, but no cap time. Sentry, the heavy, respawner is up, gets immediately fragged down. This could be good, but Seeds is on his own Uber now, 100% for him. He's just going to play near the spawn. Warps in onto him, will get the force. Caper getting cleaned up though, and yeah, it's too difficult for the bus crew.
It's good that they got the force out at least. They slowly started walking forward on Swift to try to catch something, but not enough in the end to really get onto Martin. It's not as much an advantage as it was last time. It still is one, but maybe it's just good enough for Swift to escape their last point once again here. Certainly have shown great work on keeping themselves together now the entirety of the map here. Jevon on Spy once again already behind them, just looking for the opportunity. Tries to pretend to be someone else, but just walking around and not looking at the medic's back. But they will realize anyway, this scout is walking way too slowly. And they will catch wind of it in time. Don't take them down just yet. We'll have a second chance. Maybe not get the Devil Man.
And this spy play is a lot better than it looks on paper from Jevon. In fact, Swift stacked that point and they denied 2 scouts, and they were definitely going to rush into mid off of those spawn denials, but Jevon just delays them long enough and even gets the demo pick at the end there. Now the trade comes out in choke after Deli gets dropped by Martin, so everything I just said is worthless now. Now it's definitely Swift's game. They have 2 frags including a demo. They're going to be able to bust into mid straight away. Caper taking 1v1 on the flank with Nubby. Warped bombing in will get Gaz as well.
Right, everyone's in here, so much damage. Oh, but the Busk is slowly losing it out. Deli, the last man standing, really fighting. Claims 1 kill onto Navi, but that's not gonna do it. Maybe who almost gets Josh for his troubles as well. Those rollers, luckily for Josh, were not quite under his feet here. So that will not result in yet another kill. Even then, it's a win for Swift either way, especially with Seeds surviving. This is a huge shot they have here to keep momentum rolling. Once they have everyone back up, once they have this Uber back up, they can probably quickly make a move happen into second here. Busk actually preempting it into mid though.
Yeah, Busker wants to get on Seeds before he gets Uber, but that's not happened. Seeds now has Uber. If they use out here on Swift, it's going to be a massacre. It's a 4v4 fight right now. And Martin is still staying in. He's only on 70%. As soon as they get a good look at him, they'll be able to bomb forwards. But Caper's getting all the frags. Adelos and Caper just take everything down. They take that dry fight, and Seeds' determination to not use has actually led the bus crew to come out on top of it. They get all the frags, just split everyone up all over the point and take them down. Now the sack is in from Nubby, but Caper will clean that up very easily. Still 3 down on Swift, and now the Ubers have evened up.
Yeah, that would be a great relief for Basco right now. Just clawing onto the ground for a little bit longer here and clawing the way back into the midpoint as well, for that matter. For what it's worth, certainly a lot of effort done, and Jevon straight back into second here, and this time just on Soldier, not on Spy. That might just be good enough.
The force onto Seeds, this is so huge. All 3 rockets connect with Seeds. He Ubers before the third one, but Jevon was just taking so long to die. It's a notoriously hard second to sack into, and Jevon gets it done all by himself. Now the Uber getting ready towards Cafe. Warped will find Josh close. Josh is going to get taken down by Adelos. Nubby though, onto Martin, and Adelos has left him. Martin Ubers on no one in Cafe just because he holds S while the rest of his team holds W. That is a mistake from the Pocket Scout there.
That might make a huge difference. You'll see, I guess, for the time being. It's definitely the second point for the bus crew, but with Swift on advantage and no reason to sit on last for much longer, I suppose. They don't feel like they want to do just that, and in fact just get things going once again, get going into second as quickly as possible. This time it's Caper on Spy of all things here as the push already comes in. Nogaba just yet trying to force bus crew out with pure presence and damage.
Oh my god, and they have no frags from Swift, and Caper's running to last. Nubby is on it, and it looks like he spotted the Spy. Caper hits a revolver or 3 or 4. If Caper can win out this 1v1, it's actually all going well for the bus crew. They're winning the fight on second as well. It's now a 6v4 as Caesar's Uber gets forced off. Caper wins the fight. He caps it half up on last, and now the Uber advantage coming in for Martin. This could be the nail in the coffin. Deli's already in on the left side with Warped. They bomb forwards. Warped gets the frag onto Nasboy. Looks like it's GG here. The Uber comes out on the point, and the bus crew take 2 points in this official. First map is finally over, about an hour and 10 minutes after we're scheduled to start. Jesus Christ. Bus crew.
What a game. What a game. And somehow, even though Jevon got like 2 free kills on Spy this game, Caper still made the play of the game on Spy here. Didn't even get the backup, but it just made them have to fall back so much. They lost people while flashing themselves out here on the way back to last to save themselves from losing the round here off of the failing backup threat. Just to still get rushed until last anyway, because the blue combo just played so safe. They had the Uber up in time to just rush forward with, at the end, really smart stuff by the Busker to get all the pieces into places here, where it will just result in instant victory when they can snap the trap.
Chat asking, was that map won? Yes, it was. We started 25 minutes late and then went to a golden cap. We were waiting on Josh's internet, which was being a bit rubbish earlier. So yeah, we've just finished up map 1. We're going to be getting into Granary. We are still playing a week 5 game. Swift is late to their week 5. Obviously, they had a lot going on in terms of roster changes and stuff. And what this shows to me in Swift's kind of arc over the whole season is the downhill momentum is keeping on going. I mean, before DreamHack, you know, they're unhappy with Adiski. They say it's a mutual cut in the interview. Don't know if you've read it. They pretty much agreed that they weren't happy with Adiski, and Adiski wasn't really around to play as much as he thought he would be, so they get rid of him before DreamHack. Then at DreamHack, they perform worse than expected. Everything kind of goes wrong for them there. Adiski wasn't the problem. Forehead. They end up coming 4th when they're expecting to come 2nd going into it. Then they change out Everex as well. They get Josh in, and now they're losing to Bus Crew, a team that, you know, on paper, they should be beating pretty easily, and the Bus Crew just seem to be dominating them for most of regulation and then take the golden cap off them as well. This is just, it's kind of looking very panicked for Swift here now.
On the one bright side here, if they win this map and make this a 4-2 win, they have a 2-point advantage out of this game, obviously, of the Bus Crew here, which is enough to make third without having to get anything out of feint necessarily. Obviously, if they do, that's like even better, of course. But you kind of have to start like keeping that in mind a little bit for the end of the season here as a spectator. That might make a difference. We'll see, I suppose. For now, with how close this was, all that matters is getting a fresh state of mind here for the next map. It will maybe be a much different one. Maybe it will play out similarly, because we're going into CP Granary up next.
Yeah, into Granary, finally. I don't know much to say about this map. Like, we've not seen it much out of either of these teams, I think. I didn't catch a match on it, at least, if either of these teams did play it in DreamHack. So I don't know if it'll be much different from what we saw that first time round.
It's definitely hard to say. It is, in its own right, it's a very different map from all the others. It's a very unique beast here. For better or for worse, some people love it, some people really don't. But with the pace of the game we've seen last map already, it's hard to imagine it's going much different, right? It was slow enough a game already. Granary does allow itself to some momentum swings for sure when things go wrong. The question is if that's enough, however. The mid-fights, although have been, I think, even enough for the most part, especially with the last one being just like scared by the Basque, not even committing much at the end, will be hugely important here as well. We've talked about the solo duo coming in as people that have experience with one another and have experience overall, obviously, as well for Swift here. Will be interested to see if they can make things work out this quickly. Certainly have the troubles so far, as we can see here, but it is still close after all, which isn't what they want to be, maybe, but it still obviously doesn't mean this is hopeless right now.
Yeah, it's certainly not hopeless. I mean, if you win this map, you still come out with 4-2 on the official. Technically, you win the official. It's like absolutely fine for Swift if they can get things together for this map. So, yeah, hopefully they will. I mean, Sunshine is definitely an outlier in terms of just how difficult it is to get into last. Pretty much every team is hating it at the moment. No one's having a particularly good time.
Hey, no, I'm sure Yeehaw loves it. It's not even a lie. I'm pretty sure this is his opinion on the map. Like, ironically, I think Yeehaw really likes this map. That's the only one I can think of right now. Anyway, yeah, I have one single result here for Swift in a match that wasn't a scrim on this map, which was against a new team. During the Cup, it was a 3-1 win, which is not the most confident scoreline necessarily, but it's a win. You can argue, hell, that might not matter that much. We'll see, I guess, how much of that will necessarily happen here. Let me quickly look up if I can find anything for the Bus Crew over that weekend. I believe they played it against Kritzberg as well. I remember vividly joining late into a game, and I saw one of the Polish soldiers rolling out into the shutter door on second, opening it as they were landing, and Nation just pre-firing a pipe right into his face. Yes, that was this game here on the 14th of November. They won 4-1 against CP Granary, on CP Granary against Kritzberg. So, all things considered, like, both of these teams looking, fairly on par for the course here. With those results, it's nothing like outstanding one way or another, outstandingly bad or good for that matter. Just a working victory. Granary can be slow, so scoreline not necessarily being as high as on other maps against these teams, where they might have been high on other maps. It's not too unsurprising.
Yeah, and nothing's gonna give us a better indication than watching the actual game itself. So hopefully we'll get live very shortly here. It looks like we are finally getting into this one. First map went 2-1 to the Bus Crew. We're just now starting up on Granary. This is the Bus Crew versus Swift Week 5 match. Rolling out to the first mids. Nasboy's there a hell of a lot faster. Deli's just arriving at choke now. Nasboy has his own pack, and he has Deli's stickied up. Deli gets fast bombed by Nubby as well. He's very low, going to be waiting for an arrow, and Josh knows that's his time to strike. He gets straight in onto Deli. That's the DuMmTm down on the side of Bus Crew immediately. And now Nubby following up with a crisp 2-rocket kill onto Martin. Swift looking confident at the start, but looks like Seeds goes down as well in the backlines, and now there's 2 scouts on mid versus 2 scouts in a demo. Caper will clutch up, get Nice Boy, has to fight a 1v2 now. He has the medkit to play with. They're just kind of peppering each other down at the moment. He does collect the medkit, but Gazzy is going to be able to take him down easily enough. It's the mid fight for Swift.
Close call though, and in fact I wouldn't be surprised if Pasco maybe tries to get something in here. It looks like Swift spawners are just about good enough to make them reconsider that option back, yet no one is indeed committing for the Basco here. They're just taking safe. They're taking the L for now. And this is where the pace of the game might be set for the rest of the game here. We've seen it on Sunshine. These teams are wanting to be careful here. We see a sack come through by Josh, just trying to make the most of it right now into the skybox. 1 second straight onto Martin, hits a bit of damage. This time around, Martin can dodge in time though, and they don't let Nubby through him. In fact, they don't even let him back out again through the garage area, which is much to the benefit of Jevin, who was deep in already.
Warp skips behind into garage while the rest of his team comes in. Now he's in perfect position for a pincer onto mid. Now he does come in above. Nasboy gets dropped by Seeds. They're not going to use off yet. Deli gets dropped by Martin as well. So neither team wants to be the first one to use Uber. Seeds eventually is forced to because Warped is standing above him. And now Martin is able to perfectly kite. There's only 1 soldier putting pressure on him, and Josh gets cleaned up very easily. So now 100% Uber advantage for Martin. Nubby hiding close to choke, 2 frag advantage as well on the side of Bus Crew. They could probably just bust into left yard here for free. It looks like that's what they're trying to do. The Stickies are dead. They're in through left yard. Nubby hiding will only find Jevin, and Jevin lives on 1 HP. Doesn't even get the crater.
Alright, well, whatever gets the win right now, Basco will gladly take the position forward into second and a half here with this advantage they aren't willing to use just yet out of this fight. Certainly looks like the Swift side of things will have to respect this now as well. That's already taking a lot of presence to last. Adol's going all the way in deep, kills his countryman on the far left-hand side of this last point. Get away with Scott's free as well. Everyone's getting healed up again. They're just trying to get in with some damage, but we'll have to use pretty quickly. Josh behind them claims the DuMmTm too. Not looking good on this exchange for the Basco. Even with the 1 pick advantage they have no space to go around.
Yeah, they had to entirely leave with the tail end of that Uber, so yeah, still pretty much even. Jevin in with a sack despite neither team having Uber. He'll probably be just looking to respawn on something else, I would assume. Otherwise, there's no reason to really do that.
Alright, things staying calmed down a little bit here. Basco gladly will take the forward position they got out of the last few seconds of gameplay here. But it won't be much more than that just yet. So we are with the with the second to last stalemate once again that we've spent so much time on last map already. Once again with Swift in the worst position out of it just now. Gaddy in spawn, I assume, spy checking right now, making sure they're not getting caught by surprise by anything here. But there's no surprises to go around just yet. All of the Basco just on the normal classes. The soldier spawning at the end, they didn't even take the chance to maybe put up a banner. They just want to play this the old-fashioned way for now. The question is if the old-fashioned way will get results just now. For what it's worth, Sax might just work at the moment, because no off-class is up on the defense as well. It means so much less denial maybe coming their way as well. Maybe Basco just has to take some chances here.
Yep, Gaz obviously was expecting Jevin to change much like I was. He was on Spy just checking there. Caper's going to get traded out up top. Josh will find that one after Nubby goes down. So we're in a 5v5. The sentry is now up for Gaz, so we have a level 2 watching the point. It's behind this fence, so pretty much impossible to spam down. He's actually going to move it up even closer. So this isn't one that you can really pre-spam before you come in, but Granary is such a wide open last. It's pretty much easy to walk in without using anyway. You see people come a good halfway up the left or right side before having to force off the Uber. Kunu is on Spy. Looks like he's just checking for now, but it could be the time to make a play. He's going to go on to Sniper instead. Caper on Spy for the other side. Everyone's having their go at off-classing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta try, right? Something's gonna work eventually. I don't know how we ended up in a situation where it's Gavion, Andy, and Kuno and Paro, but we sure are here now at this point. where this is happening, and Caper's still struggling to get in, and obviously with everyone checking all around the map, it's not going to get any easier for the Spy just yet. In the midst of the stalemate here, everyone's also peeking still, looking for some damage. Nobby almost going down to all that damage there through the Shadow Door, will make his way back to spawn to live for now. But unsurprisingly, I would imagine it's just a slow game once again.
Deli is getting caught in right now. He's peeked a little too wide and he's going to be punished for it. Caper has got into position to do something though, but they're expecting the Spy. The rockets are just flying past his head. Gazzy's checking all around with his pistol. And now they're starting to move into second. Kunu just gets destroyed in the corner there. Nubby busts through up top though, and now there's a hell of a lot of pressure on these players holding in Lunchbox.
Warp is keeping Lunchbox together right now for the team here. At least not letting anyone get behind right now. Caper still on Spy while all of this is happening, just waiting for some opportunity to strike. Gun down as well might help at some point here, but it's Swift already peeking deep into second. They're thinking about it. They really want to make a move, but they know better than just going in here against the Evo right now. Especially with the fact they seem to be well aware of the Spy right now. Not trying to be caught by surprise by anything here.
Yeah, Seeds has his back right up against this wall. It's going to be very difficult for Caper. Once again, they're taking space for free on the left-hand side, walking up, getting it in onto the sentry. Seeds does take some damage to the Spy, but not enough to force him, and Deli and Caper going down makes this not worthwhile. Looks like Martin's posturing to take a trade here just to delay for spawns, as the trade does come out on this left side door. They force off Seeds, so a standard trade so far, but there's 3 down in the Uber. Martin is separated from his team. He's in Lunchbox all alone. He has to try and escape from drop down. His team are rolling out Garage to try and help him get away with it, but in the meantime, they've given up second.
Well, that was at least the best drop play Martin had all day, for what it's worth, but in the end, it's still not really helping them all that much, because they will just barely live this in fact with the players they are down doing the exchange. They're lucky to get out alive here right now and make their way back to mid. Skip jump by Warp, not quite getting to the medic here. A bit of damage will not do a day as well, but they are just overextending for it at this point because everyone on Surf is all over those 2 players. Warp Deli going down is a huge detriment to the team's chances to keep themselves together on second. Warp might get a forward spawn, that sure helps, but no stickies anywhere on yard just makes it free for the taking for the red team. They're already back all the way to the second point here on Busker.
That was a real choke from Deli on mid. Seeds was half health and Deli just put like 6 stickies out and did no damage with them, unfortunately. So there is still a tiny little advantage. Martin's just trying to build up this last little percent on aid loss, and it's pretty much even now, but looks like Swift could be just trying to go forwards either way, maybe checking out if it's still even or not. No, they're just going to sack Josh here.
Alright, well, Swift made their way back to Busker's last without having lost 1 round so far, and that might make a huge difference in the long run a few minutes from now. We are staring down a much lower timer here, assuming especially if they can get something going here at some point. So far, obviously, the Sack's not quite doing enough. Nami barely getting out of there in time as well, as the Busker's time is now to put up the off-classes here themselves. Adlos sniping, Caper on the gun, you know, well, much that they can't let anything funny happen into this last point here just now.
Yep, a coast for coast now from Swift. We'll see if they're any better at pushing the bus crews last than the bus crew were at pushing theirs. They do have Kunu on the offensive sniper, trying to get him a peek through their right-hand door, but Jevin with the bomb lands straight on top of him. Not actually connecting very many rockets though, but just enough to put them at unease, force them back out onto second.
Alright, no one's taking the big daring plays just yet. It is still comparatively early. The first part of the game might be over already, but without a round being scored just yet, it's not anyone's position to have to desperately make some plays, unlike last map, when it very much was changed towards the end of things. So it's just worth trying to play the same, but maybe not enough so actually. Just get high bombed by Jevin.
Jevin, really good play there. The force does come out from Martin in return, which isn't great though. They're unable to find any frags with it. So in fact, this might even favour Swift now with Jevin down and Uber's completely out of the equation. Josh comes through and gets caught off by the sentry though. That should put a stop to things. Nubby just trying to put any spamming from the other side. But yeah, Jevin had a really good idea there. He saw the beam and the sniper and thought, rather than getting a free kill on this sniper, I'm going to jump behind the sniper, kind of strafe in, and see if I can get on seeds. He got a very good force out, but unfortunately it leads to nothing. Now we do have another even Uber stalemate on last.
Yeah, it's gonna... I mean, realistically, I think both teams are gonna be fine with the outcome here. It's better than anything escalating all too much, I suppose, especially if you're on last, like the Busker is right now. Interesting teleporter exit by Caper there as well on top of the pipe. Not sure who that is for, but I'm sure someone's gonna use it at some point here. But for now, much more important than that, this is just a sniper scam right now. Kuno and against Adelos here, trying to one-up each other right now. So far, it's looking like Kuno will take it. Actually, Adelos just waiting on the pipe, waiting for something to happen, but nothing coming out of it at the moment. But with Nabi peeking deep as well, and not able to get a jump in time before Delhi, that's his keys. It's an instant 1-for-1 once again.
Yeah. So, just still trading frags for now, not much happening. I didn't even know you could build on those props. I always assumed you couldn't. It's an interesting tele-exit.
Oh, don't tell me he built the gun up there too.
That would be really fun.
I don't even know what that covers, but it's funny.
Yeah.
So I'm down.
It would probably even be easier to spam out than where it is right now, but it would be funny. Kunu once again taking a peek. Juven does put a lot of damage into him, so that'll put the pressure back, make everyone retreat.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Josh just staying in too long in the spam fight there against
Oh, here it is. The sentry on the pipe.
That is definitely much more interesting than the sack going through by Javin, who's not really getting in through the top area. Denied pretty quickly here. Now they have to deal with the high ground gun. You hate to see it happen. They're trying to peek once again to get someone to side lane. Someone, probably Kuno here, trying to get something going. But they can't even look out the windows anymore because the gun actually covers that being far enough back. I expected this to be on the wall, but this far back, on the pipe, this little bit even, makes the difference to actually cover the windows a bit.
Yeah, it covers the windows, it covers lower right from the defending perspective. I guess it could quite easily get spammed out from the left, where they've been peeking a lot with their sniper. But yeah, who knows? Time is still ticking off the clock. No one's really done anything yet. Josh now in trying to spam it. But he has Warped and Jim both looking at him. He goes in for a sack, and the pipe sentry will destroy him. Kunu going down as well on the sniper. And Jevon trying to get some spam in onto second, actually walking forwards here. Will find a bit of spam onto Ghazi, just trying to build up his banner. He's on the conch.
That is kind of a change. Last time it was the battalion's backup, I guess. If you want to make a move forward, they'd rather have the speed than the raw defense value, I suppose. We will see if it ever comes up. It's hard to imagine right now that this will escalate any time soon with how it's been going so far. Both teams just playing it incredibly safe. I mean, we've used it from Nebraska at this point. We've seen them plenty of times in the Golden Cap. That is maybe just a reputation they're gaining right now as a team. But if it's gaining them success as well, you cannot argue against it, I suppose. It's certainly gotten them this far for 2 points on the map. One, maybe one more on this map as well. Maybe even more than that. We'll see with the current scoreline, of course, at hand. And these sacks just not going through for anyone. This will go to a mid-reset at time, and that's maybe just what they want at this point.
Yep, there's been a hell of a lot of time running off the clock. 4 minutes left. Josh with another futile sack. The conch does come out, but Jevon doesn't get anything with it. Navi very, very low on the flank. A little 2 health, but he'll pick up his pack. And now they're peeking wide on the left again. Maybe trying to look for some spam on the sentry. Josh puts a rocket or 2 into it, but Warps is pretty much body blocking it by playing on the lower pipe. Josh will go down to him. And now we've just traded 1-for-1 on soldiers once again. Less than 4 minutes on the clock, as we say.
Well, the more time tick down here, the more risky can Swift become, I suppose, because the consequence is, like, one way or another, that it's going to go to mid at some point here. If they just fail miserably on the push, they might as well just go back to mid one way or another at that point. Most likely, at least, the outcome at that point, if they just more or less wipe here. So you can start risking more and more here. By the time it's like no time at all, they will probably just go for an all-in play. Ghazi's already just trying to get them so much damage. Anything will do, and they get it.
Oh my god, Martin just drops to the spam rocket from Nubby. Gaz just went huge. He was an absolute psychopath, just runs in, kills Delhi, and puts like 130 damage into Martin. He had just had enough. He's like, okay, fine, let me do this. I'll just run in and do literally everything for you. Huge one from Gaz, and the drop from Martin gives them a 100% advantage to work with. Sentry Gun is in a much more defensive pose now, as the Uber is popped out. Nas bombing straight forwards, Kunu playing the point immediately. There's just a little smidge of cap time, but no frags yet. Nubby, in fact, the only one to fall during this Uber. Josh getting shot out the sky as well is going to fall. Now, just a 4 versus 6. Gaz in again, once again, trying to clutch, but he's going to fail. Seeds will kill Bind. He was nowhere near escaping. So that has just been a complete reversal of the situation from the bus crew. A perfect hold and a fluffed Uber gives them 100% advantage. Nubby's already hiding on the lamp for mid.
Gazi might have used 10% of his power for the force, but at that point it was all the power they left for the push, which just wasn't enough anymore. It's certainly, just like you said, a big reversal at this point. Ellie catches Nubby as well. They had some chances here to maybe Sakura instead. Now one down might have to reconsider. They're still so far forward though. They're trying to make the most of this at this point. Just make Barton use at any chance possible. Only gets Uber now as well for that matter, but looks like they will bully them out instead here. So has to retreat once again. Not much to gain here for the red team, and Vasco will gladly take 1 point with this, and maybe more than that as well. Advantage still standing for them.
Yeah, Gaz is behind in their garage. They know about it because they sent Adelos back for him a second ago. So now they have control of 5 of the 7 granary points. They've got Yard captured on the side of the bus crew. Adelos is going to die to Nasboy's stickies on the flank though. And now Nubby is posturing towards the drop down. He sees no one. He drops down. He gets spotted by Warped. Just by pure chance as Warped is rolling out. But now both teams have their own half of Yard. We're in a classic yard v yard fight, and now Gazi comes in from the back lines, will find Caper and take down that frag. So they are really left high and dry here. Martin has to use his Uber to get out of this one. Warped bombing forwards isn't going to manage to get the rockets into Seeds, but Seeds will use off anyway at the end here. They are so stuck though, they cannot escape. They've just been surrounded by Swift and completely dismantled.
There was also a backup threat at the same time. He warped on the way to the second point. Kind of sort of sandwiched between the soldier and the demo man. Still claimed one of those kills, but they're lucky that Nas found his way into the backline to deal with that at a time while everyone's keeping things under control. Still does. Javelin Spy this time will fall before anything much can happen there on the spy play here. That will work out for Swift just about, making a great fight out of this one in the end here, and getting a good amount of advantage out of this one too. They can certainly keep this one going into Yard, into maybe second as well. Basfu will have to respect it if they can't get a quick play going somewhere onto the combo here, and certainly no one's close just yet. The most they have is some traps.
Yep, the Uber is completed for Seeds now. They're gonna get the second cap going. In fact, they're just going without it. They're going to leave someone to cap second as they take this Uber into last. Martin on 80%. They need to use this and get onto him fast if they want this to work out. They do use Kunu running across towards the combo. Martin on 98%. He's going to pop out his own Uber now. Kunu's gone down. Josh is in a bit too deep as well. Seeds on the tail end of the Uber gets cleaned up. Nasboy as well. Only Gaz left hiding in the left shutter. He's going to get sniffed out, and this looks like it's a wipe for Swift.
Yeah, Gas could not go out with full force once again here, just taken down pretty quickly in the backlines. And I mean, we've seen a clear pattern here, but the one thing this new Swift roster clearly still has to improve on is their exchanges and how they want to handle those. Specifically, it didn't work too well on Sunshine. Clearly isn't working here on Swift for Swift on this map just now either. And we'll set them back quite a bit back, maybe lose mid as well. They're fighting back once again. They never want to lose this midpoint at the end of the failed play in the last as well here. And it's going to be a dire one. Josh and Warp both down. Lots of damage coming in the way of the Busker already. Just standing on the point. Nasboy's pipe not connecting. Bomb codes. The medic. Jevon just about falling short there for the kill though.
Gaz is behind onto Martin. He's going to get cleaned up though. Martin's going to complete his Uber any second now. But he loses Adelos on the way out with 3 only left alive. He's definitely going to slow down. Probably won't be using this Uber aggressively at all. Seeds on 80%. Looks like he's going to get this up in time. The spawns are here now. Warped rolling out to get to his combo. The trade is out. Josh gets dropped on the side of Swift, but it's very, very good for them because everyone else has managed to escape. Seeds still has 100% Uber advantage on mid, and now he just has to not get forced. Here comes the bomb from Warped. He does use off, but Martin has presented himself. They're pretty much getting a free, full Ubercharge advantage push here because they just get Martin down immediately. The fight is still in Swift's favor as they have heals up, and there's 2 down on the side of the Bus Crew, so they're going to be able to take this forward. Caper hiding out, going to get spotted by Nubby, so 3 down on the Bus Crew. Seeds with Ubercharge advantage once again. That was not an ideal push into mid from the Bus Crew.
Yeah, able to catch him out just perfectly here to make things work for themselves, even have advantage to spare on 2 seconds, and certainly will get this one without even having to make use of that just now as well. The Bus Crew playing it incredibly safe. Probably the right call to make here, but Swift has to work on these last pushes. Granary last pushes aren't necessarily easy, and if there's not a big advantage, it might as well be even at that point if you just cannot get close to the combo fast. He will have no choice. It's still a tight-up game with no rounds scored whatsoever.
Warp stuffs a lot of damage into them to force out the Uber, and no frags have been found for Swift. It's a completely failed Uber. They don't even get the sentry. It does finally fall now, but they've already all had to retreat. That was huge from the Bus Crew to just force off that Uber and then kite from the door. Now a massive advantage for Martin, but using out isn't great. Using out of last, you kind of need something a little extra than just an Uber advantage. But we'll see. We'll see what they try and do.
Maybe we'll take their chances. For what it's worth though, an early force like that is, like you mentioned, really, really nice. Whenever I see in all divisions people just go in and die on the defense here on last, hoping that works. This is what they're dreaming of, obviously. Obviously much better for the Bus Crew right now, is trying to peek their way into this point here on second in any shape or form. It's not happening just yet, so just scouts being exchanged and not much more coming of it. They will fall back. In fact, Deli with the pipe jump towards spawn to do something. I don't know, maybe he was on a different weapon that he wants to be off and switch back.
Yep, it looks like they're gonna do the same thing as usual. Peek this fence side. They actually double sack here. Nubby in along with Josh. Martin is so far away from both of them. There's so much ground to cover, and he's just playing inside that sentry. Makes it impossible. Nubby escapes with his life after noticing it was going to be a futile attempt. So, yeah, still no rounds scored. We've got 7 minutes left on the map timer, and we're 0-0.
Yeah, and this is like coming off a game that went back and forth over the map still quite a few times here, all things considered. But the blast push is just not quite working out for different reasons for these teams just now. Bus Crews had less opportunities, I think, but Swift's quantity certainly wasn't met with more quality just yet either. Maybe they can keep running into this wall here, and eventually it will crack. Maybe they find a mistake at some point. For now, one Javelin down is something at least to try to work with. They're peeking once again. Josh just gets hard tonight up top though, and Warp can immediately rotate to try to deal with the people on Shutter, and no one likes stamps, especially not Naspo. He juggled back into the last point with that as well. Can't even leave in time. 2 down now for Swift.
Nubby needs to get something here, especially with Nasboy down. Nubby goes for the uncloak. Martin has presented his back. No one's watching Martin, and he goes down. That's the drop. Nubby even gets a little stab onto Deli, but that's really the big one, is Martin. Now, this is definitely looking good for Swift, but they've failed enough fully overcharge advantages before. The Bus Crew can just get that gun up and hold on, but it's only just been placed. This is really bad for the Bus Crew. Their medic is still down by the time Nasboy is walking this in with Kunu. They have all of the left side for free. The sentry gun is down for free. They use the Uber off now. They need to get some frags with it. Nasboy bombing forwards, putting the hurt into the heavy. Deli's going to be the first one to fall, but no one else as of yet. In fact, Jevon does get cleaned up. Now Ghazi tickles the point just a little bit. The heavy goes down. It looks like it's finally going Swift's way as the collapse comes in onto the point. Martin's just trying to block it, but it won't do. Swift finally, after 25 minutes, are going to take our first round here on Granary. 1-0.
Well, the more you try, eventually you will succeed. Swift finds this round here, and as late as it is, maybe, that might be all they need at this point here. The Bus Crew doesn't have another 25 minutes for a round to be decided here, let alone if it goes Swift's way again at some point during this timer. It is just curtains, more or less. It was Swift last time, clutching through, making the comeback happen. It's now Bus Crew forced to clutch up before a golden cap to make it even to that extra round.
Welcome to everyone just joining us from TFTV1 as we get into this second mid-fight. Josh in with a huge bomb, immediately going to get cleaned up. Ghazi in, trying to do anything he can, will also fall. Nubby will pick up the frags that they left behind though. And now it's a 3v2. Seeds and Kunu left alive and choke. Seeds just gets destroyed by Deli. 2 stickies dead in his face at the exact same time, and the Bus Crew clean it up. They're looking to really put the pressure on now. If you are just joining, the first map was a 2-1 win to Bus Crew in a golden cap. And we are now 1-0 up for Swift here on this second map.
Yeah, this might be not quite the mid you want, but certainly you will be very happy as the Busker here getting this med kill very late as well. It's not exactly good advantage at all. In fact, Martin has some troubles getting connected with people there at the end as well. So it is just about even, but it's a mid win. It might even be some position towards second. Swift is carefully trying to reapproach the second point here. In fact, both teams don't really want to stand on the cap here all too much. Playing it safe for now, but Busker will have to take the chances now. They have 4.5 minutes to make this happen here, one way or another, to get around going, to make it once again a golden cap scoreline. At the very least, not go out of this with the losing scoreline of a 4-2. They want to bring the tie into this in some way, no matter which way that might be.
Yep, and looks like they are going to have to change some things up, because the first round literally took 25 minutes. We saw for pretty much the first 7 or 8 minutes of the map, Bus Crew were failing to push Swift's last for a very, very long time, and now they only have 4 minutes or less to do it with. Ghazi actually on Pyro, hiding in drop down right now. If anyone comes up Lunchbox, he's going to be looking to take those reflect rockets and destroy them. Warps does bomb up, he puts him on fire, and yeah, Warps just gets cleaned up along with Jevon. That's pretty much a double soldier sack here, and they find nothing with it.
Alright, Swift, I mean, on their position, they don't need to score around, they just need to make it as hard as possible for Busker to take one, and certainly this damage just puts them on a complete dead stop. Dead, in fact, are pretty much all of them now as well. Delhi not even getting back here in time. Now we already on mid, just takes them down well ahead of time here. On top of this drop here as well, just takes all of them out.
Nussboy, the Iron Bomber abuser himself, just destroys face there. Jevon, and with another futile spy play, he can add that to his tally for the season as he gets immediately taken down. Nussboy just destroyed them on second there, and now it's looking so firmly in Swift's favour. 100% advantage. They're already taking this through into Lunchbox. Warped may even get caught off here up top. He does. This is going to be a full ad for last, and a sniper of Caper playing very close to the shutter. Looks like he's going to go down as well. Going to be a 6v4 on this last push already. Second isn't capped up though, and Jeevan is blocking it versus the Pyro of Ghazi. It's taking a very long time, but everyone's already dead on the side of Bus Crew on last. They're just playing the point. It's going to be 2-0 here. Loss gets juggled off, and 2-0 it is. And with 2 minutes left, I think we're going to be able to call this one a Swift map win.
That might be the worst case scenario you want to see there. When you go back to second, try to block the cap to save the last push, and it's just the Pyro staring you down. The Ghazi of all people as well on the Pyro class. They're just saying no to your hopes of blocking this too much. Even had backup in the end, somebody falling back after they already cleaned up house on the last point itself. That was the only chance they had, and with this time limit left here at this point, Swift might just have this in the back now.
Yeah, Martin's doing anything he can by going on to crit streak here, but his entire team is getting pinned in garage and destroyed by Swift. They are just getting toyed with. Delhi last man alive. Martin gets the bow kill to add to his logs at the very least. But yeah, he's going to get taken down by Nussboy there. Actually kill binding at the end of it. So the score for this official is 4-2. Swift taking this map, and Bus Crew taking first map in a golden cap will split the points 2-1 over there. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what we would expect, I'd say, because Swift haven't been looking as strong recently as we expected them coming into the season. Bus Crew have always been pretty close to the teams above them, but just never able to inch out any points, and now they finally have managed it here in Week 5.
Yeah, I mean, Bus Crew looking scary for what it's worth. Maybe not in the way necessarily where people are like the most hyped to play them, because I mean, if this is the slog you have to go through to get a map note, then you kind of will drag playing them, but that's fear in and of itself, just making it as hard as possible for people to get the win here. It might be a 3-0 scoreline at the end, but it feels like it's just barely a 1-0 at that. Swift getting this win on the board here, and the Bus Crew at the very least making a statement. We can keep up with you guys here for now. You will have to respect us for the rest of the season into playoffs here as well, because with these performances like this, it's hard to imagine that these guys won't make it. Upset potential is still kind of there, of course, but it's very unlikely at this point for you with this team to not to just be in the playoffs. And with the 4-2 head-to-head win here for Swift, they might just have secured the spot over the Bus Crew as well for third slot, which both of them aren't playoffs. Both of them might have to play each other in playoffs. First round, first things first here as well in, 3 weeks. However, you have even just the tiniest advantage with map picks here. And if the new Swift roster can figure out what they don't really like to see in terms of maps until then, maybe it is Sunshine, who knows? That might just be helpful enough to help out eke up the next victory as well.
Yeah, and absolutely, it's the new Swift roster. This is pretty much the worst we're going to see them. They've had a streak of bad results and then some roster changes. So this is brand new for them. This is the worst we're going to see them at. They can only improve over the season, so it should still be a close one by the time it does get to playoffs. Yeah, as you say, it looks like they're securing the 3rd seed, at least for now. And once they get used to Josh and Nubby on the Soldiers, we should see them kind of grow back towards where they were at the start of the season, and hopefully look a little bit stronger against teams like Busker in the future. But Busker have definitely surprised me this season. At least they've been obviously not securing points that they maybe could here and there, but they've been at least taking it very close to all the teams above them.
Yeah, I just checked the website, and it must be nice to have an admin because the result immediately got verified. Like the second this game ended, to confirm the 4-2 in fact, just to check what the matches are left for Swift at this point. It is Kritzburg and Feint. Luckily for them, with this result here, the Feint game only matters so much as they can maybe try to upset above a little bit still, which, I mean, hey, if possible, you'll take it, I guess. At bare minimum, however, they secured third, I think, for sure, as long as they can get a victory over Kritzburg, or at least not drop more than 2 points, I believe. If they drop 1, they still will be above the Busker, I think.
Yeah, and Kritzburg shouldn't be a threat to Swift. We don't know quite how much disarray they're in after all these changes, but I don't think it'll be enough to lose to like that sort of team. We have a very, close top 4 this season, and then a very close 5th to 8th, but the gap between the 4th and the 5th is massive, I think. So Swift should be happy to go forward and take 3rd seed from here on out in the season. I've not got much else to say. It doesn't look like we've got anyone here for interviews, so unless you've got something to say, Dum, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we can mention here is real quickly what's up next as well, which, if you liked Swift and you want to know for sure if they will or will not choke, that is tomorrow, right away. They're playing their Week 6 official right tomorrow on this channel here, Team Fortress TV 2, against Kritzburg for the fans. And like you mentioned, the gap might be big in Prem sometimes towards the top and the bottom, but that doesn't mean that the gap is big at the bottom, and these guys are certainly still having to fight it out. That is, in fact, tomorrow on Team Fortress TV 1. Elven and the Britmonks versus globalclan.eu. The last 2 places right now, but the win there just makes you comfortably be high enough above the rest that you might just not have to worry about getting last. Small victories, I suppose, but in the first season for quite a few of those players, you will take these wins.
Yeah, those teams are very close, and yeah, not coming last is always nice.
For the competition, you take the fights you can get.
Yeah. So,
and I respect for them taking the fights in the first place. Well, maybe other people wouldn't even dare.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were pretty much begging for teams to round out Prem this season, and that's
we don't want to end like America.
Yeah, we don't want a small top division. Even if we have to round it out with teams like Global Clan, who have really no experience at the top level, but they've come into it, giving it their best shot, and that will be over on TFTV 1 tomorrow. Obviously, games on TFTV 2 as well. As we've just said, you can catch Swift over here as well. But other than that, I've not got much else to say. Do you want to do shout-outs, Dum?
Just shout-outs to everyone involved here. It's a busy season. I'm trying my hardest to get every game covered. I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah.
Yeah, great. I'll give a shout-outs to Ringo and everyone in chat for watching. Thank you very much, guys. We've been Dum, Bum, and Rahmed, and we bid you good night.
Twitch Prime.